Hi everyone. Hey Delma.
Okay, we are going to start just to take the most out of this webinar. Welcome again to another webinar. I always say that I really enjoy this space because it's a space to ask questions, learn tons of things that can help us in our business. So I'm really excited because today's topic is a really good one. It's cultivating an authentic community. We have Krystal here with us. She's going to be the one telling us all about this. She is the owner of Empowered by Women. It's a community platform that boasts inclusivity, innovation, collaboration, and genuine friendship. The core of the EBW, like they say it, it's the mission is to empower women to live a life that's loudly passionate. So they also recently launched their women-owned small business directory to make it easier for communities to find their new fave brands and for small business owners to build their brand visibility. So I know that Krystal, you have tons of experience, and I know that your experience is going to be super valuable. So I'm going to leave the time just first. I was dropping some. I need to say some reminders. This is a 40-minute webinar, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat box. If Krystal is saying something that you're having a question, just write it down there because we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. And also the webinar will be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel for you to watch it anytime you like. So Krystal, welcome. The time is all yours.
Thank you so much, Delma, for the intro. And for those of you joining us, Diana and Angie, hi. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. I know well, me and Delma at least, we're at different time zones, and you're probably following along the same time zone as them. So thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, just again, a little bit more about me and my intro. I launched my product business, a line of jewelry storage, which is called Book of Bijou, in 2021. And pretty much simultaneously, I knew going into it that I wanted to recreate a community that I used to have years ago when I used to sell jewelry, which is really ultimately what led me to creating my products business. And at that time, it really was kind of selfish, right? I wanted to create this community because entrepreneurship can be very lonely. And you need to be surrounded by people that share that ambition or have even more ambition than you to really fuel you and keep you motivated and passionate and excited about the things that you're doing. So pretty shortly after launching Book of Bijou is when we expanded into our community platform, Empowered by Women, which really is focused on, like Delma said, fostering genuine connections and giving back to the community and really giving small business owners a platform to share their stories, because I think we all have such amazing stories to tell, as well as providing them a platform to increase their brand visibility. So that brings us to now. We've been really working hard to build our community, and a very authentic one at that, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the numbers, it's about those connections that you are making with your audience and how genuine that audience feels, how authentic that audience feels, and how much they're fueling you to keep going, right? Because, again, the numbers on Instagram or whatever social media you got, like, that's great to look at, but if you don't have that connection at the end of the day, like, what is really fueling you? So we're going to start off just talking about the importance of community, which I've already been kind of diving into. And I want to take it back to when I met Diana, who's one of the co-founders of Inventora. And I'm sure most of you know already that she's also the founder of Terra, which is a home fragrance company that is expanding into like housewares and things, which I'm really excited about. But I had the opportunity to interview her either in 2021 or early 2022. And something that she said was, at the end of the day, people want to support people. And that is so incredibly true. And it really is about being a storyteller, right? Being able to be very authentic and vulnerable and share your story and why it is you do what you do. Especially, I know Inventora, your audience is largely handmakers, right? Small business owners. And that can fall in line of the categories of like candles, for instance, just like Tara, or handmade jewelry. Markets that people tend to consider saturated, right? There's a lot of competition out there. So you really have to differentiate yourself, and it's not just about what's different about your product, it's you and your story. And being able to tell that through your product, and when you show up on social media. I know that often there's so many brands out there and businesses where we kind of want to hide back and not be the face of our brands, but that really is where the power is, when you're able to show up and be very raw and real and start bringing your audience along your journey with you. So when I first launched Book of Bijou, I recognized the power of community and the power of vulnerability pretty early on. Not by, well, it wasn't necessarily something that I planned. So long story short, manufacturing has just been a nightmare. And at the beginning of launching my product business, I kind of really took a step back and thought about, like, how do I want to lead my business? And I really wanted to lead a business that was very transparent, that was very honest. And I wanted to bring my audience with me along the journey. I wanted to feel like I had a team of people, whether or not we're just connected via social media and we're states apart or time zones apart. I wanted to feel like I had that team behind me. And I pretty quickly made that decision. You know what? I'm just going to be very raw. I'm going to show people like what the real nitty gritty behind the scenes of going into manufacturing, of having a business is like. And that really opened up the floodgates for me, I think, because it was a tough time for me, having just launched my business and having to deal with so many hiccups with manufacturing that I absolutely did not expect that early on in the game. And once I got onto my IG Live, I was very vulnerable, and I was telling everyone how tough it was and how much it sucked and how I didn't know what the future was going to look like. I had so many people that were reaching out to me, people that I had not yet connected with, but other small business owners, other entrepreneurs reaching out to me saying, I'm so sorry you're going through that. I've dealt with manufacturing issues. It's not fun at all. I completely know how you're feeling. You're not alone, this and that. And that was really the start of how I started seeing how you can create very genuine connections via a social media platform that for the most part seems very superficial, when it really doesn't have to be that way at all. You can dive so much deeper, and I think there's so much beauty in that. On top of that, once you are really devoted to building community and not just increasing your numbers, that's what starts building loyalty, right? People want to continue supporting you, not just buy from you that one time and forget all about you. They want to know how you're doing, how your business is doing. What are you currently working on? So you start building that rapport and with that engagement. And we all know how important engagement is in social media. So when I launched a Book of Bijou in 2021, I started with a platform of zero, right? I had no audience except for a few friends and family. And obviously I need an audience. I need people to sell to. So how was I going to do that? Social media, that was where I was starting. And there really are so many ways via social media that you can start building your brand awareness and start cultivating your community. And one of the first things I suggest, if any of you are starting from a platform of zero, from absolute scratch, is by leveraging the audience of others. So how did I do that? Really quick, when I launched, I didn't even have my inventory, okay? It was a pre-order, and I still wanted to ramp up that excitement for our product. So I started leveraging the audiences of others, and I did that by hosting giveaways. Okay, the keyword is hosting. I didn't even have a product to give away at the time, but I knew I needed to start building my following. I needed to start building my community. At the very beginning, you can start, just worry about the numbers. Let's start seeing some momentum. And then from there, we can start diving in and building those connections a little bit further. So I reached out to people. I didn't wait for someone to see my product on Instagram and be like, oh my God, we'd love to have you in our giveaway. I hosted the giveaway. I facilitated the giveaway. I created my own opportunity and reached out to products and businesses where it really complemented my product. So I don't sell or manufacture my own jewelry, but there are so many other jewelry businesses out there that I knew would work so well with my product. So I reached out to them via a simple DM. Hey, I'm hosting this giveaway. This is why I'm doing it. I would love to have you. This is why I love you, right? Kind of adding that little human touch to my message, not just very, robotic. Can you join my giveaway on this date? This is what I need from you. But giving them that opening of, this is what my mission is, and this is why I would love to have you. And I had so many people like, yes, I would love to be part of your giveaway. Thank you so much for reaching out. Diana from Terra was actually one of those people. And since then, we've created this really amazing relationship. That was back in, again, 2021 or early 2022. And it wasn't something that ended up being very superficial. We have an incredible relationship now. And it all started just because I reached out, attempting to leverage her audience and the audience of other people. From there, this is where the authenticity comes from, right? And the deep, genuine connections. I wanted to really get to know these women. And this is where I started, asking if they wanted to hop on a call. I would love to get to know your story. I do have a podcast, our Empowered by Women podcast, which is on Spotify as well as YouTube. And I wanted to give them that platform to share their stories because, again, I think there's so much power in sharing your story. But I also wanted to just get to know them. I wanted those relationships. I wanted that connection. And I didn't want it to just be one and done with the giveaway. I'll never see you again. Thank you for everything that you gave to me. I wanted to be able to give back. And I think that's so important when it comes to how you can build your community, right? It's not just about what you can get from other people, but what can you give? When you come from that place of service, people see that, people grab onto that, and people want to be a part of that. So I started doing the interviews, and then that led us to hosting our own events. So I'm not saying you need to create a podcast or you need to host events, but there are definitely so many opportunities for you to start putting your name out there and start building your community. So for us, Empowered by Women, again, our focus really is on small business owners, especially those that are women-owned, and giving them that platform to increase their brand visibility. So we hosted our women's empowerment markets, and that was really what put us on the spot as like a legitimate, this is a community platform. She really is very genuine in her mission of wanting to give back, of wanting to foster these genuine relationships. That was back in May of 2022. And since then, we hosted our second annual one this May, and we have 3 more dates on the books, and we're continuing to host more markets. So events is really where we're being able to grow our community even more because we can establish an in-person relationship, right? I'm inviting all of these people that I've kind of very slowly connected with online, and I'm bringing them in person, and I'm getting to see their product online, and I'm getting to chat with them in person, and I'm getting to know their stories. And from there, it just kind of opens up the gateway, right? Once I meet them and then bring them onto our events, I can start following up with them. I can figure out, what can I do to continue this relationship? What can we do together? How can we help our businesses grow together? Another way to start building your audience and your community from scratch is podcasts and webinars like this. I think is such a great opportunity. There's so many podcasts out there, and a lot of those podcasts are looking for guests. And again, it goes back to creating your own opportunities. You do not need to wait for someone to reach out to you. Be your own PR person. Be very passionate about what you're doing. That passion is what is going to bring your community. My whole thing is being loudly passionate, right? You have to tell the universe what it is you're doing. You have to tell the universe what it is that you want. And that is what attracts your people, not just people. We can't please everyone. We all know that perfection is not real, but it attracts your people, the people that really will be there to support you at the end of the day and are going to rally for you and are going to support you and are going to be so excited for whatever it is that you're working on to launch next. So podcasts, again, with events, you can also do networking. Networking is a huge one. I think oftentimes we get very intimidated by going to networking events, but my suggestion is just to start slow. especially if you're someone that's very introverted, you're not comfortable with speaking to a lot of people, just get your 30-second elevator pitch in, right? Get that down. Hi, my name is Krystal. I launched my own jewelry organization company, Book of Bijou, and from there I expanded into my community platform, Empowered by Women, where we're really focusing on fostering genuine connection and also providing small business owners a platform to share their story and build their brand visibility. Here's my card. It can be something as simple as that. And then if whoever was on the receiving end of your elevator pitch, they resonate with what you just said and what your mission was that you so eloquently spoke in that 30 seconds, they'll reach out to you. Again, via Instagram, you can send DMs, okay? And I think there's an art to doing outreach via DMs. I think, again, you really need to bring that human touch to it, that vulnerability. So what I do in continuing to build our community, so you can actually save replies on Instagram. If you guys don't know that, it's a feature that I use often, like every day. So they have the automatic replies, right? If someone reaches out to you, it sends out an automatic reply, but it's so ridiculous the way that they set it up because it'll just keep sending it out anytime they send a message. So I honestly hate that feature, but you can use save replies. So anytime someone follows me, I actually go onto their Instagram and I see, are they a small business owner or are they not? And then I have 2 different saved replies, depending on which category they fall in. So if they are a small business owner, I have this little message saying, hey, I'm Krystal. Thank you so much for following us. Like, this is what we're doing. This is our mission. I'm so excited that you're a part of it. I would love for you to check this out and be a part of our directory. If you have any, half the time, they'll just double click it, give it a little heart. That's fine. They've seen it, right? They've probably looked at it, but never said anything. And that's okay. You're still getting eyes on whatever it is that you're doing. Or maybe it starts a really beautiful conversation, which I've had happen plenty of times. I've had women respond and say, wow, this is amazing. Like, I would love to hear more. I would love to hop on a call and see what you're doing. I would love to see what we can do to work together. And that's really the start of, again, building a much deeper relationship than just that artificial follow. For those that aren't business owners, again, I still have a little message, say, please be sure to check out the directory where you can find these incredible women. And it's still opening up that conversation, even if they can't necessarily be part of the directory. If they have any questions about what my mission is, or maybe they have some kind of connection, right, that would be interested in what I'm doing and possibly finding some collaboration in there, that's still something amazing. And then another thing I do, I have a few hashtags that I follow. So if ever I'm just scrolling on Instagram and I see an amazing brand that I haven't seen yet, and I really love their stuff, I just go onto their Instagram and send them a quick message, another saved reply that I have. Hi, my name's Krystal. I absolutely love what you're doing. I would love for you to be a part of this. And then again, it opens up that conversation. If they don't see it, that's all right. If they don't reply, that's all right. But then again, you might have those key people that do reply and that do really love what you're doing and do really resonate with you and want to see what you guys can do to work together. And then once you do start opening up that conversation, it really is, how can I maintain the relationship? How can I keep it going? How can I make sure that this is a genuine, authentic relationship? This is when I think it's so important to show up as yourself via social media. So for me, I actually work a full-time job on top of trying to build my business, and I am a mother to 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. So my time is very thinly spread. And sometimes, you know, there's some things that I really want to share on Instagram, and like, I don't have time to like get myself all done up. I will literally come home from the gym all sweaty and in my gym clothes, but you'd be like, you know what, I need to show up. This is when I want to tell people. And the fact that you are showing up so real and so vulnerable, that gives the opportunity to your audience to see the real you. And that allows them to relate to you more. You're not just this pretty far off brand that seems almost untouchable or unapproachable. You're just another person. You're another person that's relating to the same struggles. I recently had my car stolen Saturday evening, fun times. With that, my laptop and some other things for our recent events. And I shared that. And I've always shared the difficulties with entrepreneurship. And again, that allows people to relate to you. That allows that conversation to open up like, oh my God, I've dealt with the same thing. This is what I did. This was a great resource for me. This is somewhere you can go. These are some tips I have. Like, is there anything I can do? And again, that's building that relationship. So really lean into that authenticity, that vulnerability in the not being perfect and just showing up as you are, because a lot of times, especially for any entrepreneurs out there, that's all we have the capacity to do. But it doesn't mean we don't care about what we're doing. It means we care enough to show up in the time that we do have to show up, right? And we're not holding ourselves back from that. We're not holding ourselves back from the connections that we have the opportunity to make every time we show up. And then one of my favorite things ever is collaborations. I am so huge on collaborations. Me and Inventora and just Diana in general, we've kind of found numerous ways to collaborate. And I think that's really the beauty in a relationship, right? It's not just a one-time thing. It's not just you work one time together. That was great, thank you. But how can we continue to build this relationship? What else can we do? I think a lot of times us as creatives, like our mind never stops, right? We constantly have ideas and it just won't go away until we do something about it. And we need to bring those ideas to other people, because that's where the beauty is. That's where the fun is, when you can start working with other people. I've had numerous relationships form since starting Empowered by Women, where I've had women that I've continued to work with in different capacities. Now, if you are thinking about collaborating, my tip is to make sure that when you are reaching out, have an idea in mind already, right? We don't want to just reach out to some really established brand. We're a pretty new brand. You're a really established brand. We want to take advantage of your audience. Like, hey, can we do something together? Like, whatever you have in mind, I'm down. Bring something to the table. What ideas do you have in mind? So it's not just like you're expecting them to give something to you. But this is why I think we would work really great together. This is what I can do for you. This is what I want to do. This is my mission. I've had some people, want to collaborate with me. And again, I love collaborating with other women. But I've had some people reach out and then they kind of don't bring any ideas to the table. It's as if they're expecting me to take care of everything for them. And that's not really the start of a great working relationship, right? It's about, again, coming from a place of service, really sharing your mission, who you are as a person, and what your mission is, and me being able to resonate with that and see how it aligns with what my mission is. And that, at the end of the day, is what's going to make me or whoever you're reaching out to so pumped about, yes, let's collaborate. Yes, I think my audience would love you. Yes, I think my audience would absolutely love what you're doing and would want to be a part of that. And again, just allowing yourself to be very authentic, very loudly passionate. Don't hold back. I know a lot of times we're afraid of reaching out and afraid of the rejection. Again, not everyone is going to be your people. And that's okay. I've had people that didn't respond to me. I've had people that didn't want to collaborate. That's fine. No worries. No big deal. Maybe we weren't as aligned as I thought we were. And at the end of the day, I want to create a community that really is tied to my mission and excited about what we're doing, excited about this vision that I have, so that we can all go together to whatever the end goal is. I think that's about it. I don't know if I had a great closing statement. I know I could probably talk about this all day, but I want to make sure that we do have time for any questions, if there are any questions.
Yes, I love what you said, because it was your pure experience and story. And I honestly believe that community and partnerships, collaborations are like the most important part for your business success. And I do have a question for you, because I I'm also a small business owner, right? And it's hard for me, for example, to show my personal experiences with my business community. So what things do you think, like, what's the limit, like, that you said, okay, I can share this here, but I won't share this? So how do you separate the things that you can share with your community and the things that you don't?
I think there's a lot or there's very little, I guess I would say, that I that I think is off limits. I'm pretty much an open book. I think, again, that rawness and that struggle that you're going through, that probably everyone else is going through too, that is what makes you so relatable. And that is what really opens up the floodgates to people latching on to, like, this girl is real. Like, this girl I could talk to, I could open up with, I can really trust her, put trust in her because she's being so open and real about her situation. So I think in order to lean up to that, if you are kind of uncomfortable with getting to that point, start slow. Even if you don't like being on camera, just type it in a caption, right? Have a really thought out, very from your heart, from your soul, like, caption of what's going on with you. Maybe it was, about a story about how your business started. Maybe it was from heartbreak or tragedy. And this is why you started doing whatever you're doing. Or maybe you're launching a product for a specific reason because it reminds you of so and so. I think even just the caption and being very vulnerable in that caption can start opening your eyes to how much people are drawn to that and how much people want to see that from you. From there, you can do it again. And then you'll notice that those posts or those stories where you do get really personal and you share all of those real details, that's where the engagement really lies, because they know you're not just trying to sell them your new candle, you're trying to let them in on your story. And then, of course, with the engagement, right, that's what ramps up the algorithm. More people see it, more people connect with you. And then I think from there, you can kind of just start getting into the habit of slowly incorporating this and this and this. Even if it's just one photo of you saying, this is who I am, this is why I started my business, that's a start. And then when it comes to, like, the really heavy stuff, I think that's where you just need to go with your instincts. There's some things I haven't shared. This past year has been a stressful year. And there have been some things that I haven't shared just because of how current it was and how very, very personal it was, like with relationships and things like this. And, at the end of the day, I don't want to negatively impact anyone in my immediate circle, right? If it's something along the lines of business and struggle with business, I don't really think there should be a limit to what you're sharing, because I think that's so eye-opening for everyone else around you. And I think that's such a great way to make a connection.
I love that. I don't know if anyone else has a question. Just feel free to write it on the chat box, or if you want to unmute yourself and speak and just say the question, please feel free to do that as well. Don't be shy. Well, they say no questions. This has been great. All the tips are great. This is the perfect timing for me. Great message. So I love to hear that. Krystal, thank you so much for your time. And we really appreciate all of the things that you mentioned today. I think being a small business owners, it was something that is very refreshing to hear. And you can also take some ideas to implement to our businesses. So that's honestly a good thing of this webinars. And we really love your experience, and what you taught us today was really good. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you to those tuning in. I'm so glad that this was perfect timing for you. That makes me so happy to hear. And I just really hope you all know, everyone that's tuning in, everyone that's live with us now, I really hope you know how amazing you are. how much you have to bring to the table. And I hope that you really just open yourself up to the possibilities and just share all of your amazingness. But
Awesome.
thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining. Remember that we are hosting these webinars every the first Wednesday of every month and the third Wednesday of every month. So we have guests and educational topics that are going to teach us tons of important information that we need to know for handle our small business. So thank you again, everyone. And I don't know, thank you so much. Thanks for joining.